don't fold. Let the truth be told. Can't shake the feeling deep inside. The truth's been pushed too far to hide. Every mile brings it into view. What they say and what ain't true. You can sit back or take a stand, but silence ain't no helping hand. One road, one code. That's all we know. Stand firm, don't fold. Let the truth be told. One road, one code. That's all we know. Stand firm, don't fold. Let the truth be told.
Somewhere along the road in America today, a dangerous idea started creeping into the workforce. That efficiency matters more than people. Truck drivers were called essential when the country needed freight moved. Heroes we were called heroes when the shelves were empty. The backbone of America when panic hit the supply chain. But now many of us are asking a very simple question. If we mattered so much, why has respect become an issue of debate? Maybe that question doesn't really stop with trucking. Maybe factory workers feel it. Maybe construction workers feel it. Farmers. Maybe millions of Americans feel like somewhere along the line, common dignity got traded for convenience and corporate performance charts. In this broadcast, we're going to ask whether trucking's problems are really about regulations or whether the industry just purely ignored culture, quality of life, and the basic dignity of good treatment for far too long. We're going to talk about the difference between public praise and private reality. What drivers experience once the trucks stop moving, and whether the people making decisions today in trucking have forgotten what life actually looks like for you and me behind the wheel. Because maybe the problem isn't that nobody wants to work anymore. Maybe people are simply just tired of feeling disposable. And if you think this industry can still be fixed, if you think leadership still matters, and if you think working people deserve more than just slogans and public relation campaigns, then this conversation is worth you joining in on. Because one thing I've learned, silence changes nothing. But conversation, that changes everything.
One road, one code. That's all we know. Stand firm, don't fold. Let the truth be told.
What's a show without technical issues. Bossman here, Trucking Headlines, your source for news and opinion backed up by and made for the average Joe in trucking. Your thoughts and opinions are deliberately featured and used for future content. Consider subscribing and help us become the leading source to make trucking great again. Support us by email. That's truckingnews@outlook.com. That's truckingnews@outlook.com. Or consider joining our TIB membership. Simple, not much to ask to join in and become part of the content, as it were. $2 a month or more if you'd like. Take advantage of early access to this content before anyone else. As a member, you get first glimpse of every video I put out and access to a newsletter. So join in live. Simply click the link pinned in the chat. Verify your settings and come up here with us. You can have your camera active or you can stay behind an avatar. Does not matter. Either way, you can come on up here, join the conversation, and help break the silence. Here at Trucking City, silence is our enemy. Now let's begin. I'm going to try to do things a little differently tonight. Trying to adapt as much as possible. We are essential until the freight is delivered. That's one thing I've come to learn. During COVID, truck drivers were called heroes. We were essential, America said. Truckers were the backbone of the economy. But behind the workforce and warehouse gates, different story. Behind every corporate decision, dignity was the thing that was missed every time. Media focus was suddenly on drivers hauling life-saving freight, but still being denied bathrooms, still being treated like outsiders, still being viewed as liabilities. If you ask me, I think recent coverage is quite the contradiction, and I think that contradiction matters. Because you can't claim that someone's essential while treating them as disposable the moment they arrive at your dock. That's not appreciation, that's convenience. Here's the reason I raised this tonight. At the exact same time, trucking companies and technology firms are pushing autonomous trucks harder than ever. Humans, you and me, people, drivers, we're fighting for access to simple dignities. The right to work, number one. The right to a restroom, put out in other publications and media. Think about the message that sends, though. They spend billions on automation. They spend millions on having debates in the media about replacing drivers, but somehow basic dignity for the current workforce suddenly becomes optional. Somebody can just arbitrarily decide they want to replace a number of drivers without so much of a thought or any more than a glance at their budget sheet. How does that happen in an industry that constantly claims it can't survive without drivers? If you know that answer or you have something to contribute, put it in the chat. I want to hear your thoughts. Because maybe the question isn't whether or not the industry can survive without drivers. Maybe the bigger question is, do you think there's more going on here that gives reason to think that this is by design? Are people doing this on purpose? Are they consciously trying to rid not just trucking, but the overall workforce? Are they trying to rid the human element? Are we the risk? Let me know your thoughts in the chat. I'll bring out our first guest tonight, Thumper. Tell me, do you think the risk is us, or do you think it's something else. Perhaps I'm missing.
Say that again. You got really muffled for a second.
Do you think that us humans are the element of risk, or do you think there's something bigger at play?
I don't know. I don't think we're at risk because I'm sorry, there's no machine that can replace our job with these autonomous trucks. It's a disaster waiting to happen if you want my honest opinion on that.
Okay.
But I don't know. I mean, there's always something bigger going on that we don't see. Whether it's politics, our jobs, just real life in general, there's always something going on that we don't know about because we're not informed.
Well, I mean, I bring this up, and I've got another guest in the back. I'll bring him up in just a minute. The article sponsored that really made my decision easy to have this conversation. The title of the article is Feds Finally Considering Treating Truckers Like Humans, Guaranteed Permission to Use Bathrooms. And in this article, they go on to talk about the significance of the Build America 250 bill. Now, when this bill was originally created and put in as a consideration, which they haven't fully codified everything yet, this language wasn't in there. It's now being put in, and it's now being, mentioned. But what they're talking about specifically mentions supporting the nation's truck drivers with a dignity package of provisions, and they list a number of them. When I read the article, I thought, why does it require an article in Congress to get something that should really be by nature not even thought about? Think about it. There are some third world countries that do better with the whole dignity equation based on what they're putting into this bill. You and I both know. I mean, we're not third world. We're not, we're not that bad, but
we're getting there.
It should not be a topic of discussion, yet it is.
Well,
I'm probably touching a nerve just based on the image in the guest window here. So let me bring him up. Let me further ingratiate the conversation here. Welcome to the show, Fake Truck, and glad you could join us.
Boom.
Yeah, Good evening. Good evening.
Glad you could join us. Thank you.
You pulled me away from the NHL playoffs.
Yeah. I don't follow the NHL, dude. Come on now.
What kind of man are you?
Oh, I'm obviously not a hockey dude. I don't live in Minnesota, don't you know?
Yeah, you live. I know where you live, and you have a professional hockey team that's playing in the NHL playoffs right now.
Do we?
Yes, they're in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah, the North Carolina Hurricanes.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
I watch hockey, and I know that.
So
I can claim stupidity for one reason. I'm a recent new resident to the North Carolina area. That's all I'm saying. It's my story. I'm sticking to it.
Let me expound a little bit on what you were saying.
By all means.
This whole dignity thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I've been in trucking 26 years.
Yep.
I would say over the last 10 years, maybe 8. Mm-hmm. No, it's more like 10. Yeah, we don't have access to every single facility that we want access to, meaning restrooms or stuff like that. The reality is we did that to ourselves. Let's call a spade and be real here real quick. All you have to go is to any lot that allows overnight parking, any shipper or receiver, anywhere that a truck is in, and you are going to find trash. You are going to find 100% disrespect of the property that truckers are on. Now, I know that's not all of us. I understand that. But the reality is, if one does it, it falls under the blanket of all of us. We have nobody to blame but ourselves. That's my opinion, because you have to remember, everywhere a truck goes usually is on some sort of private property. And you need to treat that private property with respect and dignity. If that's what you want, you need to do it in return. And we haven't done it. We just haven't. I have watched the decline of this industry for over a decade now.
Who is commonly, I say that on purpose, who is commonly to blame for that, though?
The truck driver. The truck driver
would you consider a certain segment of the truck drivers to be?
Nope. I have seen every race, every color, every gender do it.
I wasn't going in that direction, but think about it. There are certain types.
Nope. It's
slobs.
slobs.
I'm challenging you, because if you and I sit down in a room with 10 other truckers, and those 10 truckers all been like you and me with double-digit experience ranges, okay, we'll all come up with the same story you're telling. Our stories will be similar. But if you have this same discussion with somebody that's only been in the industry for like a year, different discussion.
Listen, I'm not here. I've done it. I'm not gonna lie. I've thrown trash out my window. I've done things. I've dumped a pee bottle out on a place I probably shouldn't have done it. I'm not gonna pretend that I'm any better.
No.
The reality is that is not behavior that I'm proud of, and it's something that over my career I've gotten very good at, just getting out of the truck and walking to the garbage can that's 30 yards in front of me. But the reality
especially when you're talking about representing a company that is of you. I mean, it's not your company. You don't exactly want to leave that kind of message,
nobody does.
Reputation. So
I'm just not going to lie and say I've never thrown a can out the window before. A wrapper's never flown out the window. I'm not going to pretend that I'm holier than holy. But the reality is, what was that?
I said, ooh, a bird took your wrapper.
Yeah, right. The reality is, we've done this to ourselves. Everything that we complain about, we've done to ourselves. You were saying earlier, Thumper, about how autonomous trucks aren't going to replace us. They are. Like, get that in your head. They are. There's segments that they might not be able to do everything on, but tell that to the guys back in the 60s and 70s working in Detroit, Michigan, that robots weren't going to take over their jobs. It's exactly what happened.
In our lifetime, I don't think it's going to happen.
It's happening right now.
Yeah, but it's not
as
protected.
We're on this live show.
It's happening. It's all going to come to a halt when there's a huge ass accident. I guarantee it. It's like Boss Man.
Okay,
well,
can you hold on? Let me ask you this question. If you think everything's going to come to a halt when there's a bad accident, right now there's bad accidents on the road by people that are unqualified to be driving a truck. Has it stopped?
No, it hasn't. But
are they doing things to maybe?
The reason why I say that about the autonomous stuff is because it's like, we had this discussion not that long ago, Boss Man, about autonomous trucks. You could do 1 million tests and all the tests could be perfect. But there's going to be, at one point, there's going to be a glitch in the system, and it's going to be devastating, and they're going to stop all the trucks until they figure out why it did what it did. That's my opinion.
I'm going to comment. Yeah, okay. I understand what you're saying, Thumper. I'm going to comment on the comment on the screen. Experience doesn't equal decency. Well, okay. Go ahead.
No, you go. In no way did I say that.
No, but comment on the screen below me is what I'm referring to. Said, sorry, experience doesn't feel equal, or it does not equal decency. That's what the comment said. I'm gonna half agree and half disagree. I mean, and I was being kind to you, Faith, to let you complete your thought, not interrupt you, but the longer you're in this industry, I personally feel like you become more responsive to what you see others do out there. To bring up what I said to Fade a minute ago, when you're in this industry for 15 or 20 years, or like him, he's been in this industry 25 plus, we tend to see things and we're thinking about our future. And we're also thinking about the future that we're leaving others once we're left with retirement or whatever our future is. When we're no longer contributing to trucking, we've got to think about what's behind us, not just, what we're currently doing. So to a degree, yeah, your comment does equal a common belief. I think, yeah, decency and experience don't go hand in hand, but the longer you've been in the industry, the more you think about it. Go ahead, Faye.
Well, I was coughing.
Hmm.
I don't disagree with that comment one bit. And I mean,
No.
I know that there's a lot of people that think down the line of like the way that you're thinking. And I know that like how you said, what you're going to leave behind when you retire type of thing for the next generation of truckers or whatever. I'll be honest, I don't think about that. I worry and focus on, mainly my family. I don't, trucking is not what it was when I got into it. I don't see it. Trucking's what you make it. Like, I don't think trucking's that bad. You know what I mean? It's a lifestyle that I've become very accustomed to. It's my life. Nobody is telling me I have to drive this truck or own this equipment and stuff like that. I choose to do all that. It's, is it for everybody? No, it's just not. I certainly don't complain about it, because
one thing's for sure. If you're joining us for the first time, not to cut you off, Faye, if you're joining us for the first time, certainly engage us with the chat. Let us know your thoughts. We're talking tonight about just basic human decency in trucking. And this being surrounded by all the recent press about not only driver replacement, but the working to pass the new 250 bill and Trucker Decency Act. Let me tell you something. I take very seriously when the idea that my job could not survive or outlast my ability to work. I take that very seriously. So, and you may have noticed with the last few videos that I've created, I'm not personally threatened with automation, but I have cause to wonder what's really going on. And I'll have to ask you, and I'll start with you guys in the panel. Thumper, what message does it send to the younger generation, those people that haven't quite yet pulled the trigger and decided whether or not trucking is their ideal career path? What does it send to that younger generation of truckers when trucking companies invest billions into autonomy, while people like you and me, we're still struggling for basic dignity, higher pay, detention time, parking, restroom access, things like that? What do you think of that message being given or delivered?
Okay, so there's two ways to answer this, and I'm going to start with us as veterans here in the panel. It's telling us that we're not worth it. They don't care about us. They don't appreciate our years and everything else that we put into this industry to try to make it better or do our jobs to our full potential. And the younger generation, to be the second part to answer your question, is the younger generation did it to themselves. They really did. I mean, if you sit
Well, that's
there,
dovetailing off what Pete said a minute ago.
yes, it is. But what does I've noticed this? The younger generation, what do they want to do? They want to sit on their ass and do absolutely fucking nothing, make TikTok videos, and become famous that way. That's
Mm.
the generation that is coming up right now. Very, very rarely, unless they were raised into it, like Fate, me, you, raised into working hard to get what we have and live for. But the
Mhm.
generations nowadays, everything's handed to them with a fucking silver spoon, so they did it to themselves. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Vic.
Let me ask you guys a question here, real quick. Boss man, do you have social media?
More than you care to know about.
Okay.
Why,
Thumper,
why bring it up?
Thumper, do you have social media?
Yes.
Okay. This way, so like I have kids that are in that early 20s, very like early 20s are all my children, right?
Mhm.
Very hardworking kids.
Right.
We all have social media or do YouTube or do TikTok. We all want to create something that makes our lives easier, whether that's another type of income. I know people that have left jobs, whether it's in trucking or something else they did, because they make enough money off their social media. I don't consider that lazy. So this new generation has the ability to earn an income and or a living different than we did. And because it's
Touche.
kind of like when we talked to our grandpas when we were young and they told us how they had to walk up the hill both ways, home and to school, with no shoes on in the middle of winter.
Who hasn't heard that story?
It's no different than that. So I'm not throwing this younger generation under the bus. When it comes to trucking,
Mhm.
I wouldn't advise my children to get into the industry because
No.
I see what's happening in the industry. You know what I mean? And to have regulations, listen, I know this is going down a different path a little
Rabbit
bit.
hole.
Not a rabbit hole, it's my political like belief. I
Right.
don't think the federal government or a state government should tell a property owner or a business what they have to do and shouldn't be able to do. If they don't want me to use their restroom, so be it. You know what I mean? Like I
And you
understand
know what?
the inconvenience.
And I firmly agree with what you're saying. And my question goes in a different direction. However, it's why should it take a congressional act or government involvement, either by the federal or state level, to even make this a consideration? Why
For
should
control.
this even be?
Control.
Yeah, why should? I mean, it shouldn't even be necessary. That's my point.
Well, enough people cried about it.
Well,
And no
yeah.
offense, I'm not trying to be rude or mean, but like you're having a whole live show bringing up the importance of dignity in trucking. I'm not saying you're crying about it, okay? Let me be
No, I'm
very
not.
clear. I'm not attacking you or Thumper here at all.
And I'm not taking it that way.
You
But
wanna
what I'm
fight?
actually, what I'm crying about, if you want to use that term, what I'm crying about is the fact that we've actually got to have discussions like this on a congressional level. You know, I mean, it's 2026 for goodness sakes, and here we are. We're having to defend our position as an industry when we shouldn't even have to think twice about it. It wasn't 5-10 years ago. It wasn't, 2020, 6 years ago, we were revered as the heroes of the day. We were we were the shit. Well, I mean, how do you go in 6 years from 6 years from that extreme to where we are today?
Stuff was bad before then.
I'm sure it was.
Before then.
I'm sure
Once
it was.
again, social
But
media.
you see the extremes, though.
No, I don't see the extremes. That's the thing. This idea of extremism or that legislation has to be written is the problem. Like
Yeah.
if you had somebody come to your house every day and use your restroom, let's just use bathrooms as an example. You had somebody come to your house every day and use your bathroom and left it the way that we see truck stop bathrooms. Would you close your bathroom to that person that comes there every day and say, sorry, like the way you leave this is costing me money?
Well, no, if they're costing me money, no, I'm not gonna tolerate that kind of.
Okay, now do you want the government to force you to do that?
No, of course not.
Okay, so what are we like that? That's the problem. Is yes, we have a voice. Social.
The part that you're not conveniently leaving out, but you're not entering in there is, why is it even necessary for the government to come in to say to that business owner, hey, you have to do A, B, or C?
I think it's because of social media and people that cry. That think they have a right to use that facility. You don't have that right. That's a private entity. That is, do I think we should be able to? Absolutely. Let me be clear about this. But it's not a right. It's not a right. There's places to stop along the way when you are driving. Rest areas, truck stops. Go ahead, Thumper.
Oh, boss man knows I got to move from the dock, so I'm going to shut my camera down. And
not a problem, man. Do what you got to do. Yeah, we'll be here. Hour or not, that's not a problem.
That reefer life.
Gotta love it, right?
It's weird.
Gotta love that reefer life.
It's weird. And honestly, since we're kind of on the subject about respect and everything, I've noticed a big difference, and I give you guys props because you've been doing reefer a lot longer than I have. I give you guys props because ever since I unhooked from a cheese grater or livestock trailer, whatever you want to call it, I have gotten less respect on the road because of the type of trailer I pulled. I have noticed that. So I give you guys respect for a lot of the
people look at you. People look at you differently, huh?
Oh yeah, they look at.
What if I told you the opposite was true the whole time you were holding cattle? I assumed the opposite. Think about it. You give us props, but for the longest time while you were hauling cattle, I did the same to you.
Yeah, I couldn't do that. I've told that to Thumper.
Yeah, no way I could do that. Exactly. Let me address the comment on screen. Said either someone has been trucking longer is more likely not to be trashy, but I believe someone is nasty or they're not. Trucking experience doesn't really alter someone being clean. Very true. I mean, there are those of us that have been in the industry for a long time that there's no hope. Funny story is I was in taxi business for good 20 years. And we had one particular driver that worked in the company that I was managing at the time. I mean, no one, and I do mean no one, would move his cab. He was the nastiest. Never showered, never cleaned. I mean, the inside of his cab was, trashed. Customers constantly complained. And we finally had to take action and rid the company of that image. But he'd been in by that time in the taxi business for well over 30 years. He was an older fella, and just goes to prove the point Carolina Carnivore makes. Doesn't matter how long you've been. Sometimes it doesn't really matter. It doesn't make a difference. Trying to read this. Government has never dictated my success or failures in trucking. Yep, that's true. Yep.
Amen, brother.
Yep.
Or sister.
Only my decisions and life circumstances have made impacts in this industry. Yep. There you go. There you go. Corporate efficiency goals are, I think, playing a large role in what's been in the recent news. Anyway, well, let me ask you guys: do you think those style of goals have slowly replaced this whole discussion we're having about common decency. We're talking about, restroom access, truck parking, detention time, things like that. Do you think that this large push over, especially the large mega carriers and the like, trying to increase their efficiency, to increase their profit margins, do you think that's playing a large role in why we're hearing so much about this?
No.
You don't?
Nope.
No? Well, why do you think that? I mean, don't you think, you pointed out, I mean, you're a business guy. You think that, chasing that profit margin is essential.
No. 100% it's essential.
Yeah.
Like, that's your job.
Right.
That's your job as a CEO of a company, is to make the company money, to make them profitable. Yeah. I think all this stuff that we've experienced in trucking with all these not new, but trucking being at the forefront of things right now, has a lot to do with the coalitions of social media. It's people that are upset, and by no means do I think they don't have a right to be upset and or cry about something. I believe they have every right to do that, and if they want to use their voice to try and make something better for them, I think that's good. But it doesn't affect me. I mean, trucking's gonna be different. That's something we need to accept. We need to stop worrying about all the advancements in trucking and take action in what we're doing for ourselves. That's all we need to care about, in my mind. And me as a small business, that's all I care about.
There's a face we haven't seen in a while.
I was just going to say, he gets around. He's got a lot of aliases. I mean, why not just come up here as who you are, rather than, I don't know, isn't this like the third alias I've seen now? Seeing you as 7 C's? I mean, come on now. You've been on my show quite a few times with different names.
What up, man? That's who he is, huh?
Yeah.
I tried to get a hold of him, and we kept playing telephone tag. Yeah. I'm on the road now, bro, so feel free to hit me up.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Well, it's nice to know. It's nice to know that the crowd is as small as it is.
I was gonna say, I haven't seen 7 C's in. Well, I mean, honestly, I haven't seen him since the OG crew.
Yeah, well, it's no wonder. I mean, how many names does he come up here with? I mean, that's not the only one he has. Carolina Carnivore. He's got another one, I think. I don't think he'll admit
that name makes sense. I remember him telling me back in the day, inviting me over. I think it was like on a Memorial weekend. Hey, I'm barbecuing ribs or smoking brisket or something. Swing by my house, like.
Yep.
Speaking of Memorial, it is Memorial weekend. So remember all the fallen who has given us this freedom to do what we can do.
Yep.
So, and happy. Here, it's not a alcohol beverage, but here's to
I was going to give you your ample time for that at nearly the end of the day.
I ain't done yet, but since somebody said something, here you go.
Yep, there you go. Here's a sticking point that I know we bounced back and forth a couple of times, you and I, Fate. And if Midlife were here, he'd be dogging me right now for even bringing this up. At what point did trucking stop being viewed as a skilled profession and start being treated like a disposable service? Because, I mean, think about it. That's where that article that I'm pointing to kind of puts us, because, again, we've got to go through this 250 Truckers Dignity Act just to get certain things done, certain measures passed. A large portion of truck drivers really are pushing for unpaid time being paid attention to. They feel like drivers can spend hours at facilities where they often have little control over what happens, then to find out they're not being paid worthwhile. And for many drivers, that frustration isn't just limited to the bathroom things we talked about in this first segment, but it's about feeling powerless once you're no longer making money. So there's a lot of different dynamics at play. So when did the whole idea that we're not a skilled profession even begin to creep into this discussion?
Well, I personally don't have that viewpoint of it being a somewhat skilled profession.
As I said, if midlife were here, I'd be hearing it third degree right now.
But I also think if you're working for a company that isn't paying you for your time, why are you working for that company?
Very true. Very true. Yeah.
I don't believe the government needs to step in and do something for you. We have that. It's called welfare. You know what I mean? So it's, take a page out of Midlife's book and he would tell you, research the company you're working for, ask the right questions. And maybe that's our responsibility as people that have experience in this industry to share with the up and comers. But the up and comers, companies nowadays have made things look so enticing that you don't even read the fine print. You know what I mean? You sign a contract and or a lease or something because you want a title,
Yeah.
Do you want to own a 378? Come work for us. We'll give you a no.
Are you talking about Hurricane?
No, I'm just saying in general. But that's what it is. It's a fucking infomercial. You want to be your own boss. You want to do this. You want to make a buttload of money. Well, you know what? I'll tell you this right now. And Boss Man knows this. I think you know this, Faith. I failed at owning a truck 3 times. I still own my trucks that I have. But I'm working for a guy because you know what? It's a lot easier for me as a person to do it that way. Mm-hmm. The only way you're going to succeed is by putting your mind to it and making it happen. That's the honest to God truth. That's the only way you're going to see. That's why Boss Man succeeds. That's why you succeed. Me as a business owner, I could succeed if I really put my mind to it. But the issue I ran into was I was livestock. Good example. Yeah, the money's great, this and that, but at the same time, I felt like I had to have a image, keep my truck looking this way, do this, do that, because I felt like I had something I had to live up to. Well, now that I work for somebody, I don't have that stress on me. My bills are paid, this and that, and everything else. The only person who's going to make that stuff happen is you.
Yep. Very, very true. Very true. I'm going to move on to the next segment for a minute briefly. So pardon me, guys. Carolina Carnivore says we had brisket, chicken burgers, and pork bellies.
Oh, Joy, you're making me hungry now.
I'm serious. I'm going to get my wife over here. Going to get my wife over here on the screen yelling at me here. Driver shortage narrative. Narrative versus reality. For years, the media and large parts of the industry have reported and repeated the same phrase over and over again. Nobody wants to drive. But I've said before on this channel that sometimes the media helps prop up narratives without asking a deeper question. Why would people want to enter an industry where basic treatment has become part of a federal debate? Think about it, just like we talked about a minute ago. Because this article in question has accidentally just exposed a bigger issue than just bathrooms. It exposes conditions, shrinking pay, facilities, treating drivers like trespassers in some cases. Maybe the problem isn't a shortage of drivers. Maybe it's a shortage of people willing to tolerate the conditions much of the industry has normalized for years. Think about it. Now, that to me is a conversation nobody else wants to have on any of their channels, but I'm willing to entertain here. Fixing these issues would actually require something harder than a public relations campaign. It would require changing a culture. What say you? Given the recent video Mother Trucker did, where he talked about Derek Barr saying, and I quote, "We don't need more regulations. We just need to enforce more of the ones we have. Wouldn't it make more sense to improve the lifestyle before launching more government-funded interventions and recruitment programs? Wouldn't better treatment solve these problems better than another slogan about workforce deployment? What say you? Tell me in the comments. Let us know your thoughts. What say you, Thumper?
I don't know. I mean, I've said this before, and this kind of goes for the whole trucking industry. You can't fix something that's broken, or you can't, how did I put it? I got to think of how I put it now. You can't keep adding new rules and everything else until you fix what's broken. And that's what it is. The system's broken right now, and nothing's going to change until you fix what's broken. And as far as this and that, a lot of it is on how, kind of what Fate says. A lot of it is on us. The way we do stuff, the way we act, the way we treat properties and stuff like that. I will admit, since COVID, a lot of stuff has changed. But you can't really put a natural disaster, or not natural disaster, but pandemic or whatever, you can't really blame it on that, because a lot of it is on us, and that just kind of pushed it over the edge.
True.
So I don't know if I answered that correctly or not, but that's been kind of on my mind for a little bit.
Well, I mean, every point's a valid point. I mean, when you think about it, I mean, we spend a lot of time, Fate, talking about retention, why it's such a problem, why it's such an issue. Some large companies experience annual driver turnover nearing 92, 95%, meaning a lot of drivers will enter the industry, but they choose not to stay. And there can be a lot of reasons why. But I think driver retention and lifestyle deserve more attention than the issue that article brought up. What say you?
Nobody's going to dictate my lifestyle for me. So I make my lifestyle what it is.
But where you're concerned, you don't believe retention is a problem for you, because you've already got your experience. Contrary to what other companies report to.
But that's, once again, like when I started my trucking career, I worked for the company that I started my trucking career in before I was a truck driver. So right. I knew how the company operated. I mean, business is business. Business doesn't have emotions. Business doesn't have feelings. I get that there's a high turnover rate. I don't blame that 100% on the companies. This is not for everyone. This lifestyle isn't for everybody. You know what I mean? I've seen many people come and go in this industry. Whether you're even a local driver, the demand on a local driver is very high as well. You know what I mean? It's, that's not always the company's faults. If you don't like what a company has to offer you when you're interviewing, don't take the job. Ask the questions about delay pay. Ask the questions about short day pay, or how much you're being paid per hour, per mile, or load pay.
Find out that information
by the ton.
Find out that information up front, certainly.
Yes.
And get it in writing. That's a mistake a lot of people fail to make. They do make. They don't get anything in writing. They just accept a verbal, agreement, and then when things go south and they don't get something, they've got no legal backing to expect the right thing to be done.
And if something doesn't seem right, ask questions. Yeah. That's the other thing, like these lease purchase stuff like that. That's how a lot of people fail at this stuff, is they don't understand the contract and they don't ask questions.
Well, not only that, you brought something up a minute ago that I was going to kind of joke on, but it's the truth. You said, oh, here's a 389. Like, you're in trucking, right? Like, this is my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
You see the fuel prices. As a you as an individual, if this is something you want to do where you're doing a lease purchase or gonna buy equipment outright, this is my opinion as a business. A business always finds ways to cut costs. You talk about the mega carriers. Why aren't the mega carriers driving all the hood trucks and everything like that? Because they're not efficient. They don't make sense in today's trucking world. They don't make sense.
That's the reason why some of the more efficient trucks are that much higher priced.
But you as an individual have a right to go out and get what you want. What I find hilarious on social media is then you sit and cry about how much it costs you. Understand that before you do it.
Well, I've always said if you're going to go out and buy a truck, buy what you could afford that's going to make you money. And if you make enough money to the point where you could own a hooded truck, that's your choice.
Yep.
But buy what you can afford and what makes sense to what you do. You know, I'm very fortunate for the truck I'm in right now. Because the owner of the company, these trucks work for him. He makes enough money that it pays the bills. But at the same time, is a W900 the right thing to be pulling behind a Reaper? Absolutely not. And we've actually been discussing maybe getting T680s. Because he goes, well, I don't want to lose you as a driver if I pull you out of that truck and throw you in a T680. And this is what I told him. I don't care what I drive. You treat me well enough, I'll sit in a fucking Volvo. I don't care.
Yeah, very true.
And it's because he treats me very well. Fate, you have a Freightliner, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And an International.
That fits your business. And you're happy with it. Bossman, you have a Mac. That fits your business, and you like it and everything else. You know, it depends on what you do and what you can make work and how you can afford everything.
Well, hold on. Sorry, go ahead, Bossman.
No, go ahead.
There's nothing wrong. Thumper, I could not agree more with you. But the one thing I'm going to put into this is my opinion. But I've seen a lot of people come and go in this industry, whether they're owning their equipment or not. I can't read it.
He says, damn, I come back a year later and we're still debating hoods.
No, but it's a misconception. Listen, right now, the fuel price of where I'm at is $6.20 a gallon. We can do some easy math here and realize that efficiency is key if you are a small business owner. If you want to make a lot of money, efficiency is key. And when you talk about fuel is typically your second highest cost next to payroll.
Yeah.
As a business, it makes sense to lower your second cost, your fuel consumption.
Yep. It does.
You know, I get 9 miles a gallon.
70. Welcome to the show. Glad you could join in. Glad you could chime in. Do you have any feelings about whether or not? Hey, bud. Okay, I must be a friend of yours. You got you got a thought one way or the other about common decency in trucking. I'm going to warn you guys. My lights are flickering here. Don't know if I'm going to have a power problem. So if I go offline, bear with me. I'll be back. Just saying.
Pay your internet or your electric bill.
Yeah, right. Now, we've been getting storms all night, so it doesn't surprise me. They've been flickering on and off all night long. Anyway, as I was saying, we've been talking about just decency in trucking, the recent legislation being considered with the 250 bill. The article is linked below if you'd like to get more info on what exactly we're talking about. We're kind of going round and round about whether or not this should even be a topic of discussion. Because honestly, as long as I've been in trucking, the longer I read these articles and the more I see this information in the news, the more ridiculous I think it is, which is kind of the reason why we're having tonight's live and tonight's discussion, apart from the fact that it really perfectly dovetails into recent videos I put up about automation. It's not like we don't have enough problems. Automation's just adding to it. But that's a whole nother video and a whole nother live show we can have. Just the idea, improving detention time. Just that in itself. I mean, Fate, you were talking a minute ago about money and about issues, knowing business, knowing you're good from your bad, how to run efficiently as possible. When it comes down to getting every dollar and really working for your money as efficiently as possible, I think it's real important to consider that. A lot of contracts slide in these clauses where you don't know that you have to wait 5-6 hours. In some cases, maybe 3 or 4
Whose
hours.
fault
Whatever
is
the
that?
case is.
Hold on.
I was going to get to that. I was going to get to that. I mean, but nonetheless, it is a problem, and a lot of the newer guys don't know about this. They don't realize it, and they're the ones that wind up filing the lawsuits, pushing for legislation, and wind up being part of the news when these issues come up. Happens more than we say. I mean, how many times we've seen it? The GO. What was it?
Crybabies.
Yeah, the Government Overtime Act or whatever it was. That was in the news a while ago. The IC legislation they were considering. They got struck down in California about independent contractors. I mean, I could go on all night about different things that were brought about, but I mean, not being discussed can actually cost drivers a lot. But I think many new drivers are the reason we are where we're at. What do you think, Thumper? What do you think?
I got honked at, and I'm gonna go tell my Senator Cruz.
You might have to go to Mexico to find him.
Well, I mean, that's what it's coming down to. It's like, I don't know. What happened to the days where two drivers knocked each other out in the parking lot and then went and had a drink afterwards?
Oh, you're not invoking Joe Biden, are you?
No, I don't fall upstairs.
No, there was one press conference where he was talking about taking Donald Trump behind the bar.
Wish he would have.
I don't know. It's our fault. It really is. Fate, you nailed that one right on the head. It is our fault where we're at where we are right now, and the only people who could fix it, it's not the government, it's us.
Okay, folks, Fate just made the whole thing make sense. Thanks for joining us tonight. We'll see you next week.
But like, I don't know. I see the
Listen,
the training, the mentor. Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
By all means.
Listen, if I wasn't in the position that I'm in today in my life in trucking, and I worked for a company, let's say I got paid by the hour or paid by the mile, and I had to sit 6 hours in a dock and not get paid for it, I would be upset. Let me make that very clear.
Right.
But that's something that I feel like I would have asked before I took the job, right?
And the other thing, not to cut you off, but the other thing you think about is, are you being compensated in the line haul side of the contract to compensate for that? There are those situations. So,
in my current position where I book my own freight, I do my own thing.
Yep.
It's my job to read the Raycon. It's my job to ask the questions of when I'm booking a load. Hey, what's your detention policy? You know what I mean?
As it should be for anyone. As it should be for anyone.
That's my responsibility.
Yep.
That doesn't fall on anybody. And once you understand lanes that you run or places that you go, your bid on a load can be based on, hey, I know this takes 3 or 4 hours to unload me. I'm going to slide in an extra couple $100 on my rate because my time is valuable. But let me also be clear about something. Thumper, you're in this world now, so I'm curious in 6 years or in 6 months to know how you feel about this. You know how much sleep I get when I'm getting loaded and unloaded or getting my split breaks in? it actually works in my favor.
It does.
Like,
Yeah.
I'll take a nap.
Oh, dude,
I'll eat food.
I could already vouch for that because a good example today, granted, I had a 5 a.m. or a 5 p.m. load time. I showed up 2 hours early. They got me in a dock right away. And then here, what was it, 20 minutes ago, I said I had to pull out of the dock.
Yep.
So that entire time from 3 to 8:30, we'll just say 8:30.
Yep.
I was sleeping when Boss Man said, "Hey, I'm doing a show."
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I got
Go ahead
up
and
and
make me-
here I am.
Go ahead and make me feel bad now. Thanks. I
No.
appreciate it.
Oh, dude, I do. I get a lot more sleep now than
Yeah.
I did with livestock. I'll flat out admit it. And I've actually I've gotten into a new routine to where I have so much time doing what I'm doing, but I still make good money because of the loads we do.
Yep.
I have time where Bo and I go on walks. I actually been exercising. I've been cooking my own meals in the truck instead of eating out.
Yep.
I'm actually starting to become more health conscious.
Yeah.
So you have dignity in truck driving, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, I'm starting to get a belly though, so I
No,
need to get
you
rid
do.
of it.
What you just explained
Yep.
is a lifestyle that works for you without the government's involvement.
Yeah,
That's
Yep.
dignity.
yeah.
That's dignity.
Amen to
You
that.
don't need that security guard to pat you on the back, you know what I
Yep.
mean, or have the shipping
Right.
and receiving lady tell you have a nice day. You know, they hate their job as much as we hate our jobs at times.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And the thing
There's-
is like when I go to places like this current place that I'm at, not gonna say the name of it, but I pulled up to there. The lady, she was kind of rude to me, and I said, "Well, good afternoon. How was your day?" I treated her like a human being. Guess what? Her attitude did a 180.
Wow.
I was nice to her, she was nice to me, and then she saw my truck number on my truck, which is my number of my truck, and it's like a Western World War II pinup doll holding a 1 and a 7, because that's the number of my truck, 17, and she goes, "Oh my God, that is the best thing I've seen on a truck."
Oh, wow.
You know, that's the thing, is a lot of places that I go to, if you're courteous and nice to the person,
Yeah.
they will do the same back to you.
Right. You know, much the same. I'm going to address this
Dignity.
comment. 6 hours in a dock and not being paid. Time to vote with your feet if you ain't happy about it. Good point there, Carolina Corner. I'm glad you.
Well,
I'm just going to call
that-
you 7 C's. I can't
that-
What did he
pronounce
say?
that every damn time.
Vote
I
with
can't
your
read
feet.
it.
He said vote with your feet if you ain't happy about it. In other words, walk. Don't stay there.
Huh.
That's
Well,
what he
I
said.
mean,
Right.
This place took us a little bit while to load, and I'm actually sitting here looking at people. There's people that are doing laps around the parking lot.
Yep.
You know, the thing is, yeah, you may have downtime. Like, there's one guy sitting over here in the dock. I can see in the side of his truck. He's watching TV.
Yep.
He's
That's what I
passing.
was watching the NHL before coming onto this thing. I
I
had to sit through an intro and freaking all kinds of technical
Uh,
problems.
Yeah.
But
Says
yeah, I
you.
mean,
It only gets worse. I'll tell you that.
the time that you are at the shipper is only as pleasurable as you make it.
Very true. Last point I want to get into real quick is we've already hit the hour mark. Federal government stepping into this issue because the industry itself failed to fix issues by itself voluntarily. It should concern every one of you, and rightfully so. Not because bathrooms are unimportant, not because something as basic as dignity itself should ever been needed to be politically motivated. But for years, drivers have talked about these problems everywhere you go. You hear about it at truck stops. You hear about it over the CB radio. You hear about it on multiple YouTube channels. Everywhere on social media. It's just nothing but discussion. We talked about detention. We talked about parking, poor treatment, being treated like liabilities. None of this was hidden. Everybody knew. Everybody knew what the problems were, but very little changed. And now all of a sudden, lawmakers are stepping in, asking questions. Should have been answered a long time ago. And this raises yet another more difficult question. Did leadership ignore drivers? Did they do it purposely, and did they do it for far too long? Because ideally, this shouldn't have been solved by the government. Just like Fate and I talked about earlier. We did it to ourselves. So tell me in the chat what your thoughts are regarding this. Do you think leadership is supposed to recognize these problems and get involved and solve it? Or do you think many drivers feel like Fate and I do, that the industry became obsessed with being lazy? Let me know your thoughts, and let's wind up tonight's discussion, because somewhere in the process, the human being behind the wheel slowly disappeared from the conversation. That is, until now. And maybe that's why this story matters, and why supporting Trucking City is actually a good thing, because these conversations might seem pointless, but they aren't. They are actually moving the needle. What say you, Thumper?
I'll let Fate go first.
Pick a number. I don't care. Y'all got opinions, so
Well,
let me have it.
you've been throwing me first, so you know what? Let's let Fate go first, and I can feed off him for once.
He's like, I can't believe I'm in this damn show.
I
He's
wasn't
like, I could be
paying
watching
attention,
hockey.
so I don't know that. I don't know the answer to the. I don't know what the question was.
Well, I mean, the question's basically, just as you started, the whole idea that the government even has to get involved in this whole matter to begin with is rather ridiculous, simply because we did it to ourselves. Well, we've just gotten lazy. It's just that simple.
Yes and no, right? Like, I agree with that. I agree that how do I say this? I don't want to. This is the best way I can say this. I think if you look at, like if you have kids that are my age, right, in their early 20s, I owned 2 houses by the time I was 24 years old. I made $10.75 an hour back then. Now, I had a lot of overtime at the company I worked for, but I think that this isn't a political thing, right? I don't think inflation and wages have been very viable together for quite a long time. I think we've seen a big gap in wealth versus people that are trying to make it through life, right? And I'm not saying we're poor or anything like that. I'm just saying there is a big gap in our economy to where, like, a 24-year-old, if they want to go out and buy a house, they're going to have to spend, $400,000 to $500,000 to get a house. That is a lot to take on as a 24-year-old.
Yep.
So I think that's the one problem is we all want more money, right? And it's easy to point fingers at the bosses or the CEOs saying we need more. The other side of that coin is I still live in a country that I can go out and get what I'm worth. Do you understand what I'm saying? I can make these decisions and make the money for myself rather than having a government provide it for me.
Yep.
Did that make any sense?
Perfectly. Gonna introduce another guest to the show. Semi-Corey, how are you tonight? Glad you could join us.
I'm doing all right. Can you hear me good?
Oh, I can hear you perfectly, my friend. Go ahead. What say you on this?
All right. I kind of checked out a little bit on the conversation when I was trying to sign in. I think as for, are we talking about the government stepping in on the trucking?
Yeah, just the basic.
Are we still on that topic?
Yeah, talk about whatever you want.
Yeah,
there you go. Yeah.
All right.
You can.
So I think, honestly, theoretically, the less the government is involved in anything, the better. But when we're talking about trucking, where the government is so deep into the industry, then if they're going to step in on like our time, our ELDs and stuff like that, then they got to go all hog.
I
Like
couldn't agree more with that.
if you're
Yeah.
in for
Do
a
you
penny,
think-
you're in for a dollar.
Yeah. Do you think that the more the government gets involved, do you think that further retards progress, or do you think that helps progress?
Both, honestly. In both, because yes, the government getting involved in setting basic regulations and rules and laws.
Mhm.
Yes, that is important.
Mhm.
But when they go too in depth with a lot of things, when they go whole hog, if they go in for a dollar, oftentimes they just stifle growth and the freedom to operate.
Yeah.
Where have you been this whole time, man? I could not agree more. So here's the big thing. Like, the government's already involved, right?
Mhm.
And if
Yeah.
you look at it like a game, like a sport, right?
Yep.
When you played a sport, you played by a certain line of rules. There was already established rules of what you could and couldn't do. And when those rules were broken, you got a penalty. You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Right.
It was a fair playing field. Trucking right now isn't, I'm not saying trucking's a game, but it's not an even playing field. There are so many rules and regulations that only pertain to a certain, like, there's only rules that pertain over here but don't pertain over here, to where the rules that are already in place aren't enforced. It's like the referee has too many things to try and do when there's already simple rules in place. We need to just get back to following the rules of the game and see where it goes from there. If it fails there, then yes, step in again. But right now, to me, it's government's never done anything for me that benefits me. I'll just be honest.
No.
Like, and I'm not trying to be rude.
No, you're not being rude. You're being truthful, which is
I've
Hey,
never
we're the truth
needed
and
the
broadcast.
government either.
Right. And to piggyback off what you're saying, like, yeah, there's got to be rules, but with the trucking, for example, this is a evolving industry. So obviously the rules are going to change. We're going into uncharted territory. Like, for example, the Aurora trucks, that's uncharted territory. So yes, they're going to try new regulations, new things. Like when they brought in the ELDs, this was something new. But the government needs to also accept the failure.
Corey, let me ask you:
Go
Do
ahead.
you feel like it's necessary to not restrict, but do you feel like it should be necessary to control deployment of these automated trucks? What are your thoughts on that?
Honestly, it's scary knowing that they're coming onto the highways in such a big number. But again, it's like what Aurora is selling. I think that's going to hurt the mega carriers more than it's going to hurt the owner operators.
Right.
Like I don't see them taking over what we do. I mean, yeah, Hirschbach, Swift, McLean, Warner. I mean, how much freight do they haul percentage-wise compared to the small carriers and the owner-operators?
Well, the now numbers aren't really much of a threat to anybody right now, because right now there's right now not that many trucks that are currently operating. They're being worked out. Hirschbach has a deal in place. They haven't yet purchased those trucks yet, but they've got the deal. They've got the framework. The ATA has laid the framework for it, but just because it's 2026 and we have what we have, be careful. 2030 is right around the corner, and what they've talked about and what they want to do for 2030 would blow your mind.
I haven't heard anything about that yet.
Yeah. Follow.
Speak up.
follow Truckers United and WeTheTruckers.com. Follow those people. They've got a lot of information, not only on their TikToks, but they've also got their own site, their YouTube site. I've been kind of liaising a little bit with them as far as some of the content that I've been bringing. I'll be bringing more, but they definitely have, as far as I know, the most up-to-date information. Go ahead, Faye.
Okay, two quick things. Automation's coming, and it's not just in
know.
our industry.
There's no debate
It's coming into the healthcare system. It took over the automotive system, or the it's coming. When it's going to get here, I'm not even going to worry about it. It could be tomorrow. It could be 15 years from now. It's coming. What does that mean for us?
Akin to tonight's discussion, the way it started, let me ask you this. It's coming. We won't deny that. And I agree with everything you're saying. But to what degree should we just sit back and say no restrictions?
It's not up to us. That's the problem. This idea that you think you have a voice is flawed. You don't have a voice because you don't have the money to back that voice.
Yeah, I agree with Faith on that one.
Well, there's more to having a voice than having money.
No, there isn't.
There
Not in the country we live in. No, there isn't. If you look at the thing, so you bring up,
depends on the kind of change. It depends on the kind of change you're looking for, Faith. It really does.
Well, not really, man. If you look at Delilah's Law and stuff like that, stuff that is beneficial isn't happening. There's a reason for that. I don't know what that reason is, but I don't want to seem like I'm a fucking, sorry for swearing. I don't want to seem like a Debbie Downer or whatever here, but the reality is stuff that we are talking about right now is going to happen. That's reality.
Yeah.
Do we sit here and complain about it and want the government to change it for us, or do we become proactive and maybe learn a different skill? And I know how much that would suck for somebody like me that at 46 years old, this is all I know.
I'm 10 years older than you, so I've got a more pertinent need to do just that.
Well, so does the surgeon.
And anybody in the industry really that faces that same automation situation, it's not the idea of whether it will. Well, it's not the idea of whether or not it will come. We all know it's here, and we all know that bigger companies are going to want to exercise prudent decision making and make their bottom line better. There's no arguing with, it's just a fact. But to the degree that happens faster or slower, I think the argument then becomes safety, moreover, just whether or not we're relevant. Think about it. If you put all this technology on the roads without the proper safety protocols in place, how much more likely do you think it is we're going to be revisiting this whole accident situation we've been dealing with nonstop for the last 3-4 years?
I don't disagree with you.
Yeah,
I'm not.
That's my concern. That's my concern.
Let me ask you this.
I
CDL. Oh, go ahead.
I read a comment the other day about the Aurora trucks. Apparently, they use what's called LiDAR system, and the comment basically said, we can't get the LiDAR system to work on a fucking faucet, and we're trusting 80,000-pound vehicles to succeed with them.
Well, that depends, I guess, on the use. I mean, it's not a faucet's not traveling down the highway at 70 miles an hour.
I know that's the scary part.
Okay.
That's what's scary about it.
Now I'm going against everything I've been saying about this automated shit. There's a big difference there. You're talking about a beam that's about the size of a pen versus on a semi where it's huge. There's big differences there.
Yeah, it's spread out over many feet.
You're comparing apples to oranges on that one.
Let me ask you this.
I just had to throw that out there.
If you look at the technology from Aurora, Do you think our government, and when I say our government, I'm going to talk about our military here. Do you think they have a better capabilities or better equipment that's already proving we can fly this thing around the world and blow up another country if we want to? Their technology is
it's interesting you bring that up. Well, it's interesting you bring that up because it wasn't long ago I brought up the fact that, and I don't remember if it was in a video or another live show. I think it was another live with Grumpy the other night. We were talking about this. And you can take an Airbus 320 with 300 passengers on it. That damn thing, from the moment it leaves the tarmac, wheels up and gear up, from that moment until it actually touches down the destination airport, you don't have to do a damn thing. The plane flies itself. So, you know, what you just said, you just said, Fate, is dead on. I mean, the technology is there. We can do it. The problem is adaptation. That's the problem.
The technology in the military, NASA, SpaceX is far more advanced than what we have access to.
And what do you think they do with that technology the minute their contract's done?
Well,
they sell it.
The government and everything, the government and everything is 20 years more advanced than we are.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So the technology's there. By far, it's there. It's just a matter of when are they going to really, like you said, Fate, when are they going to sell it?
I know this is a dumb quote from a movie, but it's the truth. Adapt or die. Bottom line. Instead of sitting here bitching about it and saying we have a voice for safety and concern and all that, trust me, the people that do write the regulations don't care about that. They care about the money. We just need to adapt what we do to benefit what we need to benefit or to support our families.
Personally, I don't feel personally threatened by this whole thing. I am concerned when safety is ignored, but we're talking about a number of years that I feel personally are going to go far beyond me.
Okay, you want to talk about safety? Worried. I'm sorry, Fate. I got to say something now. You want to talk about safety?
Go ahead.
Let's go let somebody with a non-CDL go drive an 80,000-pound truck. Sorry, it's already there, boss man. You just shot yourself in the foot on that one.
No, I didn't. Because actually what we're talking about are two different issues.
No, it ain't.
Yeah, it is.
It's still safety. They're allowing people, which is part of ruining this industry. They're letting people without CDLs drive fucking semis.
True.
Thumper's 100% right.
I'm sorry, but I would rather trust an autonomous truck over somebody who has no fucking experience shuttling a missile.
Well, to that I agree.
And I'm against autonomous.
Can I say one thing? I know that you want to get going.
Sorry.
Can I say? No. I just want to say one thing, and this I feel like is an important statement, and by no means is it a attack or like some political thing, right? I think I've made it very clear on your live show. I'm a libertarian. I believe in the Constitution.
I know your position.
I believe in my Bill of Rights.
Yeah, you don't have to remind
the Second Amendment.
Yes.
But you want to talk about safety, and you brought up earlier that I'm a business guy, so I think about numbers. I think about numbers all the time, right?
Yes,
the leading cause of death from 4 years old to 15 in children is guns. If they cared about safety, we would keep more young people alive than what semi-trucks kill. If they cared about safety, they would find a way to make children's lives safer. And that's not a political thing. That's not anything. That is our government. That is our government. So you sitting here talking about safety about our government's done nothing to protect children in this country.
You I agree with you on that. You keep talking like that, I'm going to make you a premier guest on my next channel. And it's in
I'm going to
discussion
run
right?
for president. Screw that. I'm
No.
adapt or die, baby. Adapt or die.
Thumper and Bo for president.
Mhm. There you go.
Okay,
There you
well,
go.
Pate, before you go, I was planning this more towards the end of the show. Boss man, sorry to take over, but it is Memorial Day. Will you guys please join me in taking your hats off and remembering the veterans who gave us the freedom to be free and speak our mind?
I know you can only half see me, but because I'm out of frame, you hit me in the middle of transitioning. But yes, I don't want y'all seeing what my bald head looks like anyway.
All right.
But yes,
Thank you for doing that, guys. It does mean a lot.
it is. It is. It's what this whole holiday weekend is designed for. So I totally 100% concur, agree, and thank every one of you for supporting our channel on that note. My closing thought, let me just...
Hold on, to the new guy.
Go ahead.
Is that new guy still here?
Yes, am I Corey? He's still
Yeah,
here.
I'm sir.
Hey, man, thanks for joining. Join more, man.
Oh yeah.
I try and join as often as I can. Like I don't get notifications of when you're doing lives, but I usually try and join this whenever I can.
So there's a way to fix that. I have figured this out, boss man. You remember what I was telling you? I wasn't getting notifications on your videos?
Right.
When you hit the bell, hit all. You will get all notifications to this channel. If it's on personalized or mute, you won't get anything.
Okay.
What are we gonna cry about now?
I'm just trying to get my background straight. Give me a second.
Everything just went into an awkward silence.
Since he's trying to figure out his little fucking thoughts here, Fate, how do people find you?
They don't.
They don't?
He don't want to be found. That's just
don't want to be found.
That's just the way he's been since day one.
Well, I one of these days I'll get him to say it.
Yeah, I know he will too. All right. Well, Grumpy, I'm glad you were at least here in spirit, because he got something up earlier. He said, "Sorry, boss man. You know, wasn't been feeling good." So let's all say a prayer for him as well. Hope you feel better, everybody. I sent him a message before I started, so everything autonomy is slow to come because we're so rich in the oil industry and we've got to continue burning fuel. Yeah. In terms of fuel, it don't matter, because you know what? Not half of the autonomous trucks they're making aren't electric. Believe it or not, half the autonomous trucks Aurora's cranking out are diesel electric hybrids. How about that?
I'm sorry, I just don't give a shit. And I'm not trying to be rude. We're an hour and a half in, so I can curse. Yeah. I just don't give a shit. Like, why are we even...
It's not a fossil fuel issue anyway. That's the point I'm making to 17s. It's not even a fossil fuel issue.
Listen, we're all grown men, right?
Yep.
Like, we can only do what we can do. You know what I mean? And hopefully by the time we are obsolete, we've done enough to provide for our families, love our kids, love our wives, or whoever you're married to, your partner, whatever. Like that's all we need to care about. Let's focus more on that. How about we have a live show where we talk about being good partners to our spouses or good fathers instead of wondering what the freaking legislators are going to do, because they don't give a shit about us. But we care about each other.
We do. We do indeed. Well, I'll tell you what, I've got quite the itinerary for future live shows. My challenge with live shows is normally scheduling and, of course, technical issues. But that aside, I'll take that under my advisement for future shows, because that sounds like an excellent idea.
I still think guys, we need to go back to the whole do a live show of mentorship again. That was a good show the last time we did that, and that was over a year ago.
All right. Well,
Corey, how long you been in trucking?
Well, I got two answers for that. I originally learned how to drive when I was 13. My old man decided he needed a hangover driver. After he died, I got out of trucking. I got away from trucking. Went to law school, did construction, automotive, and about 3 years ago, I just found myself back in the truck.
Yeah.
So you grew up with it.
Sounds like it. Yeah. Sounds like he's been in a while.
Interesting story.
And to answer your question, Grumpy, not directly, but in the direction our conversation took this evening, it probably wouldn't have mattered much anyway. But Grumpy brought to my attention a story about Waymo cars. All the same technology that we're talking about with autonomous trucks. It seems like they've run into a recent issue with one of the companies running these damn things into cul-de-sacs that don't want them sitting there because they're sitting idle for too long. And the worst of it is they're even being stupid enough, the actual cars themselves, they're being stupid enough to run into ponds and get themselves stuck floating in water.
Haxwell Truck Wash.
That raises a lot of questions about how safe that technology is.
Fate got what I said.
It does. and that's gonna raise the next question is how with these Aurora trucks, how are you gonna determine who is liable when shit goes wrong?
Yeah, that's a whole nother ball of beans.
You know my
on
reference on that, right, Fate?
Yes, I do.
Over all over TikTok, Haxwell. So that happened in Nebraska. And what it is it's a bridge, and the guy saw that it was only a 10-ton bridge, and instead of going over the bridge, he took a left and drove into the lake.
The lake. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Wow.
it's live. If you're on TikTok a lot, that was what, a few months ago. You would understand the reference behind that.
Yep. Yeah, that would definitely been fun. All right, look, if drivers were truly essential, why did respect ever become a debate issue? Why is it necessary for congressional action to even be considered and start to become part of the normal discussion? This was never just about bathrooms. It was never just about automation or culture or anything else. It was purely about leadership. And there's one thing we can debate all day long, whether or not this stuff is needed, whether it's right, whether I'm right or you're wrong. But the core argument right now at this discussion, and many coming up in future discussions, is leadership. Leadership is the thing that is different from term to term, from day to day, from issue to issue. For years, we've sounded the alarm over a number of things, whether you talk about parking, whether you talk about treatment in terms of being an independent contractor versus a company driver, where you're at when you're loaded, detention, all those things. Most of the time, the conversations normally stay trapped inside of trucks, boardrooms, and dispatch call centers. Recently, they've gotten their circulation online with videos, and they're making the rounds in the industry. So now it's time for leadership to actually start listening and take Derek Barr's lead. Because recently, his statement made public by Mother Trucker was that we need not make more regulations, we just need to enforce the ones we have. Enforcement of standards, accountability, and professionalism. And we as an industry need to take more seriously the issues of human dignity for ourselves rather than leave it up to everyone else. Because trucking doesn't need another slogan. It doesn't need more cute little live shows explaining what you've done wrong. It just simply needs to do the right thing. And that means sounding out on shows like this and letting people know you're there. As much as you say money behind voices doesn't get things done, I will say your voice does matter. And here at Trucking City, we help you sound off. I will always be here to remind people good work still matters. Dignity still matters. So let me ask you guys this, in part, if the trucking industry truly wants the next generation of truckers to believe the American dream is still possible, then what do you think has to change first? What say you, Faith?
I think the person needs to change first.
Goes from the inside out, huh?
No, government's not going to make you live the American dream. You got to go out and earn that. The person needs to be ready for hard work or whatever it is they're doing.
Right.
It's not
Right.
the government's responsibility to do that for you.
Yep. True that. True that. Corey, what say you?
Man, there are so many answers.
Pick one. You've got 30 seconds.
I think we as built the industry.
Oh, we're losing them.
Yeah, his signal.
Logistical focused, then it just. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
can.
now I
now.
can. Yeah. Your
Hey,
signal
hello?
broke up there for a minute. Yeah,
Yep.
keep going. Keep
All
going.
right.
What say you?
Sorry. I think, as I was saying, I think that we lost the trucking culture, and we stepped away from that and became more logistics centered. And when we did that, trucking just became all about numbers and miles and corporate identities. So I think bringing back the culture that built the industry would be a good first step.
No, don't end this. Don't end this.
Why? Why?
Because I don't disagree with what Corey just said, but the problem that trucking faced was the consumers. No consumer wants to wait a week to get their things. That's why they have Amazon Prime, to get it in a day. That's Corey talked about the logistics side of it. Logistics had to change because the consumers changed. So us as a society have become an instant gratification style of society where we want it and we want it now.
Right.
Plain and simple.
Okay.
How you break that? Just like I don't think the government needs to teach me morals, they don't need to teach me dignity either, or create laws for dignity. You know, so I don't know how you change it.
You really find it difficult to change consumer behavior like that. I mean, that's a time thing. That takes more than just a single industry. Consumer
Without
behavior.
the consumer, trucking doesn't exist.
True, but consumer behavior isn't a product of one industry. Consumer behavior is a creation and a product of many industries. It is every industry.
That is very true.
Yeah.
It is every industry, but like I just said, it's if you go to the grocery store, you want your food on the shelf. You said that earlier, boss man.
Yep. You want to wait until afterwards, Grumpy, or are you willing to come up now? After? Okay.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, he's in the backstage, so he just wants to join us after.
I like this
show,
Corey
so.
dude. Come on again, man.
Yeah, man. Hey, look.
We need to go back to the old show where we were all at each other's necks and then laughing in a second, and then at each other's necks again.
We've had quite a few of those shows. Don't let that throw you. You know. So
Blame the libertarian.
Yeah. I'm going to be on the low end of the viewer curve here if I don't do something very soon here. Look, guys, the American dream is still possible for people who are willing to work for it. That's why Trucking City exists, to keep these conversations alive, to give drivers a voice, and to help push this industry towards something better. So, guys, don't lose faith. Don't stop believing. If you still believe in these conversations, help support Trucking City, share these videos, hit the like button on your way out, and definitely join us in trying to make trucking great again. What say you, Thumper?
Well, I mean, you can't. The only person who's going to make a difference, and Faith has said it, is us. The way we've been, the way we've done stuff, it's affected the industry.
It has.
You know, we're human. We make mistakes, but the only people that are going to make it better is us, not the government.
Amen. Amen.
You know, I mean, honestly, we break laws every day. We don't listen to them. We don't even think about them. There's laws that we break and we don't even know it.
Yep.
You know, so we don't need the government stepping in. We just need to unite as an industry again and work with each other. And as you know, the mentorship that needs to come back too.
It does indeed.
So yeah, I mean, it all boils down to it starts with us. End of story. It ends with us.
It does. And the beauty of it is on this channel, everybody has their chance.
Yeah.
I may not 100% agree with every single person that shows up as a guest on my show, but you have the ability to sound off here and make a difference. So to that, you can't ask for anything better.
No, exactly.
Become part of the discussion, because bigger than this platform is the idea that the harder you work, the more these conversations can be ignored and need not be. So definitely help support us and stick with us. The best is yet to come. What is it you always say?
It can only get better from here, and like Bo and I always say, God bless America, 250 years, we're keeping it strong, let's keep it going. God bless EMTs, firefighters, military personnel, and I added in truck drivers. We don't get the love like we deserve, so if you see a truck driver, military, EMT, firefighter, anything, thank them, because it makes our day.
Yep.
So, and you know, that's the only thing you can do. So, and again, we don't do it just for us and our families. We do it for you guys. And thank a veteran, even though it's not Veterans Day.
Yep.
It is Memorial Day to honor the ones for the veterans. Take your hat off. Thank a veteran. They're the ones who let us have the freedom of speech.
And I'll throw you an 8-ball real quick. You're not expecting this. How do we find you on YouTube?
You can find me on YouTube, Thumper and Bo. New content coming, working on some new ones. You can find me on TikTok, Thumper and Bo right there. We hang out there a lot, do live stuff like this, and you just want to chat and have a good time, come join us there. And also, like I said, more videos coming on YouTube, Thumper and Bo.
God bless it. Till next time, guys, remember, it's the drivers that make the difference, but it's you that make it real. Till next time, guys, keep the faith and keep the rolling.